other people in the future, we can use the recording too. All right.
Perfect.
All
Thanks,
right,
John.
we're live. Thank you.
So really, first of all, thank you to just the team at Zasmix for agreeing to do this again. Mark and I were so impressed with the results and with what we saw from the test that you were doing that, we really felt like on our end, the next step was to bring in the team that actually does the work in, the manual work we've talked about in transcribing and annotating Lincoln's papers to the project to sort of get their feedback on it, to see really what we saw. And again, we're so impressed with. And so that's why we kind of had asked to do this, was really kind of so we could all be on the same page across the board in our institution.
Perfect. Well, thanks for that. And I'll just kick off before we hand it over to our colleagues here for the demonstration. So for those I haven't met yet, my name is John Sakala. I'm based here in Illinois, lifelong Illinoisan. My role at Google is I am the lead advocate for Google's relationship with the state of Illinois government. So I spend my time on information, education sharing, and thinking about the ways Google could be helpful to state agencies and folks like yourself. And I want to kind of frame what you're about to see with some context. As I work across state agencies all the time, the advent and proliferation of artificial intelligence and some of the things that it can do scares a lot of people. And I try to spend my time explaining that what we attempt to do at Google with artificial intelligence and the things that we invent and the technologies that we bring to market are designed to be assistive to human beings, not replace human beings. And we call it assistive technology, similar to the way that, cruise control assists you in, driving your car, and spell check assists you in, writing your emails and letters. None of that replaces the human beings. And so our approach at Google is to always make sure that what we're doing with assistive technology assists humans, and that humans have the final say-so, the final QA, if you will, of anything that we do. And it's really important for me to convey to everybody here that what we're about to show you is not designed to replace people, ever. It's really designed to be assistive in the way that, spreadsheets might help you do calculations better, but you make the final decisions. So with that, what we have been talking about are what if AI could potentially help with the transcription of the letters of Abraham Lincoln in a way that enables you to make this information accessible and usable by multiple people in a manner that gives you speed to value. And so our partnership with a company called Zasmix, who is in our Google professional services ecosystem, they're experts in AI technology. And we posed this problem to them, and we gave some examples, and we said, what if? Would it even be possible? And we did some testing, and they developed a proof of concept that you're about to see with some guidance from Christina. So with that, we're going to show it to you, and then we'd like to have a conversation, and answer questions after you've seen it. So with that, I'll turn it over to our friends at Zasmix.
Thank you, John, for the introduction. So what you're going to see through Sergio and Thomas, who are AI ML engineers at Zasmix, is the underlying bricks, layers, that would assist you to transcript letters into a first digitalized version. That's going to be what you see. And then see how we can leverage those elements into constituting a knowledge kind of database. So I don't want to get too much into technical details. I think it's better you see what's happening in action, and where, as librarian, historian, can be in the loop. You can complete this this process. And Sergio?
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon. Nice to welcome. We'd like to welcome you to our demo today, our AI workshop, where we will bring to life historical era Lincoln documents. What you're going to see is a small demo of what is possible, of course. Before, if we bring it to scale, we can develop a full solution. So with that, I'd like just to say that first, I'll discuss briefly what are the use cases you will see, and then we'll switch directly to the demo so that you see the solution in place. So what are the use cases we worked on? But there are three main use cases. The first one is OCR, which is optical character recognition. And the idea was to create high-quality transcriptions of these scanned historical documents curated at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum. Why is that relevant? Because we're using these high-quality transcriptions to extract, on the second use case, metadata, relevant metadata. What does that mean? We are extracting not only information such as the author of the document, the recipient, but also keywords related to what topics are being discussed in the document. Also information like historical era or something that can be inferred from the document, and other relevant information. This all leads to use case number 3, which is the search engine, where we enable both keyword and semantic search for the transcribed documents. So with that brief introduction, what you're going to see next is examples of transcription extraction, metadata extraction, and also keyword search and semantic search. So with that small introduction, I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Thomas, who's actually going to walk you through the demo. Thank you. And I'd like to hand it to Thomas. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Sergio. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, as Sergio told you before, I'm going to show you the demo. It consists of 2 steps. So the first step is how we process one document, and the second step is going to be the search engine. So after we have stored these documents in a database, I will show you how you can retrieve information and make some search in these documents. So, okay, to start the demo, let me first start with the document processing pipeline. So I have here the possibility to choose a file. These are all PDF letters from Lincoln. Let's just choose one of these ones. Okay, so as you can see, here's the original letter. You can see here it's written by Abraham Lincoln. It's a little bit hard to read, well, at least for me. But you can see here that I have a pre-processed image. It's a little bit enhanced. And I'm going to see here the text extraction. So the agent is going to understand, the AI is going to understand what is in the text, and is going to extract the text. If you can see here, it has done the job very good. You can see here that the transcription is good. Well, it's hard to read for me, but for what I have seen, it's working pretty good. But it's also important to notice that the structure of the letter is also preserved. So you can see here that the same lines, the length of the lines are preserved in the transcription. This is very useful. And
Thomas?
not only...
Hey, Thomas,
Yeah.
would it be possible that you kind of zoom in your screen,
Okay.
getting a bigger fonts? Yeah, thank you.
Maybe like this.
Yeah, it's better for sure.
Okay. So just to show you one more time, this is the letter. And this is the transcription. We have here the text. It preserves the structure. And not only we extract the text, but we also extract metadata. So I have here the possibility to see important information related to the letter. So, for example, I see that the author here was Abraham Lincoln. We can see who was the recipient, the date, exact date of the letter. So this is like relevant information that we extract from the letter. Also the document type, the persons mentioned, and some important topics and some keywords. But I have here also an additional step that is a historical context. So this is a brief description that the AI agent has developed using the text transcript and the metadata. And he extracted like a description of the historical era. So we have here a little bit of context of the letter. This can be enhanced, but this also shows a lot of information that is very useful and very powerful. Okay, here you can see that we have the transcription, but we have also all this extra information, all this metadata we have extracted are entities. So, for example, Abraham Lincoln, in this case, is an entity, and we can link these entities to different pages. So, for example, we have here the transcript, we have detected the entity, and we have created a link that will, in this case, it will show the Wikipedia page, but this can be changed and be redirected to your Abraham Lincoln Paper Library webpage. And you have here all the transcript, you have information, additional information on the links that are important in this case. So that's it. That's the process of how a document is processed from the beginning, how the image is pre-processed, the text is transcribed. We got some additional information, and we link these entities to in the transcription to the important pages of the entities. So this is the first step. Now I would like to show you the second step, that is the search engine. So we have here what I'm going to show you here is that we already have created a database with a lot of documents, with a few documents of Abraham Lincoln. So we can search through this database. So for example, I have two types of search. The keyword search, I can search just by a word. So for example, let's search here for Lincoln, just to show you. This will look through all documents and will find the ones that mention exactly this word. So in this case, I tried with this one. It is now searching through the entire database and will bring back all the documents that are related to this keyword. So I think it's almost done. Okay, so in this case, it found just 10 documents because, as I told you, we just created a small database, in this case for the demo. And we have here, for example, the first document. This is the original letter. We have the transcription. You can see the structure and the format is preserved. And indeed, it found Lincoln inside of the letter. And it also returns the interactive version with some keywords. It has the metadata here. So all this additional information that is very useful. And that's just for one document. You can see that this is just one, but we have also the same information for the other ones. So yeah, this is very useful in this case with keyword search. But what I would like to show you more is the semantic type of search. So in this case, I have the possibility to make a query, search, writing a question, or just like telling the system what I would like to find. So for example, find all documents that mention Lincoln and Ohut. Okay, so now we will search not only by a keyword, but it will understand my desire, my intent, and will search with this information. So you can see here that, for example, it brings this, it get me this letter. It's it correctly understand that I wanted documents with Lincoln and output. In this case, it's working. You can see it. You can see that I have make a small typo here. It was on purpose, just to show you that even though if we mess up with this, it will understand what we are trying to tell it, and will bring all these documents that are related to that. So yeah, again, there's related entities. So the power of this is that you can make more complex type of search and link different documents with related information that may be useful for you. So yeah, thanks for hearing. And if you have any question, please just ask.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Sergio. What you have seen here is really the backbone of the solution, which is essentially transcribing handwritten letters into a document that can be exploited on a computer. What we need to build, should you're interested in this technology, is this kind of interface that would allow the users to review content, review transcription, annotate, enrich, and use the capabilities of searching and creating relationship between letters. That's the final goal. The final goal is not necessarily to use AI engine, is to leverage it so that transcription is faster, so that exploitation of those letters, put them into historical content, which is really what you're aiming at, is facilitated.
Well, thank you so much for showing this. Chris or Tomas, would you, I was actually going to ask, even though you've done your screen, I think on the metadata somewhere, you had shown us the accuracy rate that it had gotten in terms of what it believed was sort of accurate on the transcription.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
That was the scoring. If you could,
Yeah, the scoring.
yeah, and the metadata scoring, Tomas or Sergio, if you go back to your demonstration screen and you showed where it created the metadata, could you pull that up?
Yep.
Yeah, the
bringing that up.
scoring is an indication for a reviewer to pay attention to a particular transcription.
Yeah.
So whether it's very sure, not sure, take a look, review that.
Yeah, if I could just
confidence level.
Yeah, if I could just show them where it is. So if you see where it says, like in that first one under author, it says name, Abraham Lincoln, role, witness, and confidence score is 0.9 and it's green. And what that's an indicator to you as a human in the loop reviewer is it's pretty high probability that the metadata extracted is right. It's got the right name, it's got the right role in this case. If the scoring is lower, it might show it in red or yellow as a lower confidence score. And what that's designed to be is a visual indicator for the human in the loop to go through this and say, let me double check everything. And if it isn't correct, to correct it and make it correct there. And as that correction is made, you're being assured that the integrity of the document and the metadata is correct. And then there's also a possibility for your corrections to continue to evolve and fine tune the model. So the next time it sees those things, it creates the metadata interpreted with the way you wanted it to at higher score. Christina, did we get that right for you? Or cover that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think that for me was one of the things I had been most impressed by.
Mhm.
You know, in the first example, I think we had seen the only thing it got wrong was it was a 5 and a 0 on the number.
Yeah.
And on the second one as well, it was, in the demo, again, that sort of basically 99% accuracy kind of thing. And I think there was one confidence where it wasn't sure about the date because the date was missing.
Yeah.
But without that, it was really interesting to see the accuracy level.
And this was just created as a proof of concept without any collaboration with you and your folks, knowledge. So the more knowledge you give us about the way you do things, the more refined and better the outcome would be in the delivery.
Right.
Mhm.
Daniel, do you have questions or Nathan or Austin? Brian? Initial reactions from some of it?
Well, how are we going to try to use it, and in what instances are we running? Are we saying we want to run all of our data through here and then send it to human eyes and annotators after that?
Well, I think so. One of the things that I know we've talked about and that they've really put forward is the idea that in many ways, yes, that this will ease some of the burden of having to manually go in and transcribe and type every single letter, where you're able to go back through and check and verify content versus having to do the initial transcription. So it really cuts down on a lot of the time. Yeah, it's a new tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, and the notion too is that the hypothesis would be if there is a universe of still to be transcribed documents, and there's a value of having them transcribed fast and make them accessible, that this is, a tool that can be used to do that. And then once the information, we're assuming that the untranscribed papers are still either undigitized, need to be digitized, or are digitized, but they're not transcribed yet, that the dark data inside of those documents is today inaccessible for people that want to research them or use that. And so if there's a value to ALPLM of getting those untranscribed documents and that dark data from those documents into a place where it's usable and accessible with speed, that's the value proposition that this potentially can help with.
Well, the other thing is that handwritten letters on paper deteriorate over time, even though I'm pretty sure that at the Abraham Lincoln Museum, everything is been taken care of to preserve the paper. But seeing that when they are digitalized, transcribed, the letters just need to be exposed. They don't need to be touched anymore. And they can be exploited right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love what you're thinking. Kristen, anything on your end in terms of thoughts or feedback?
Just that it seems to me to be something that would speed things up, right? It would give us the opportunity to not skip a step, but to get down to the things that the historians do well to get to that sooner. But no, otherwise, I mean, like I said, to me, very impressive, because whenever we went to that document that you then put in there, had that one been run before, or was that a new document that you were adding when you dropped the PDF? So
That's what was a new one. Yes.
Yeah, Kristen, to your question, the transcription is within, it's under 10 seconds. Sergio, Thomas, you remember the time for transcription of one letter? Was it, a few seconds, I can't remember the exact number.
It's a couple of seconds.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's, I mean,
What you have seen, it was real time. Yeah.
yeah. it's an incredible head start to me on a per document. So
The idea is that this transcription process can be set in the background, so there's no need to really select a letter, transcribe it, select a letter, transcribe it. This can be automated and just used to be feeding a database. So augmenting, adding transcription of letters at the pace you decide. But this can be automated. It's not a process that you have to go and click. I want to click this letter. I want to, no. The idea is to automate it so that you can review those letters at the time you want by using letters that make sense together. Because each time you transcribe a letter, you have author, you have recipient, you have the dates. So you can cluster, you can group those letters to review them as a set, a consistent set. That's one of the possibilities.
Anything else from y'all? Guys? Well, I have to say again, I continue to be blown away by it. I never imagined, when I was a student coming up, years ago doing primary source research that things like this would be possible. So it's really cool to see what you all have done with just the sample.
Very good. Well, thank you for the opportunity to show the broader group. Any other questions from the people that are here that haven't seen this yet? Initial reactions? Scary, positive, negative? Be honest.
Well, I'm very curious of how annotation will work with it. Whether this is just a process that we'll be doing before annotation, and annotation's an entirely different process, or is there a suggestion that the software has the ability to annotate as well?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. All we did without your knowledge and without understanding your complete process was prove out a concept that this is possible. And the way we would work with you would be collaboratively in that, how do you want it to work for you? Right? So what would help you the most at ALPLM, and how do you want it to work for you? Because at the end of the day, it's not a product that we're selling you to say, here's a product, you should buy it and, adapt your way you work to the product. Not at all. What we're saying is this is a technology that's designed to be assistive, and how do you want to configure it with you in your environment with the way you work and your workflows so that it's super helpful to you in the end. So in answer to your question, like how would the annotations work? And we would work with you together to make sure that if this was valuable to you, it would be valuable to you in a way that you described. That says this would make it valuable to me, and if we did it like this. And what we do with you is we collaborate together as we create this, what we call a scope alignment. And the alignment is, tell us what makes it helpful for you. Here's how we think we can do that. Did we get it right? And before anything happens, we are aligned that whatever the outcome would be would look like this, and you'd be happy with it. And then that's how we collaborate to work together. And we don't know what that looks like yet until we start that process.
Yeah, just to complement what you said, John, it would be very useful if you could show a demo of your process, how you do it now, annotation, review, think of it of that nature. Because here, what we show you is a brick inside the whole system that you have. Question is how you integrate this brick into your system so that the actual transcription is replaced by this tool, should it save time, without disrupting your current process, just augmented it. I think it makes sense. So if you have a demo of your process at some point, that would be ideal.
Thank you.
Other questions you'll have?
I think I'm good. Daniel's the one who's got all of the
Yeah.
processes back of his head.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what step this would be. Would this be the initial step where the PDF is run through here, then it's given to human eyes, and then we go through a proofing process or an annotation process after that?
Well, I think one of the things that I was really impressed by was, I mean, again, not using any of our kind of data set. I mean, apart from our initial scans of Lincoln documents, the fact that, you're pulling from, I think one of the examples showed, Offutt, Lincoln's well known. So to pull a description for Lincoln is not as hard for AI, but to pull a description about the Black Hawk War, to pull a description about Offutt and who he was, I think that was really interesting and intriguing to me, of having a baseline to work from, whether that baseline is sort of our own database of how we do, and you all have already created and add to your background information annotations, but being the ability to pull from that database kind of piece to build out, the annotations. Good. All right. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate y'all doing this. And thank you, John, for organizing and putting all this together.
My pleasure. So thank you. As you discuss and think about it, let us know what you'd like to do next.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a nice
Bye.
day.
Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.